Hi there everyone. Today we've got a really fun activity for you. We're going to teach you how to beanbag toss. Now, once we teach you the skill of the underhand toss, we're going to show you how to play a game at home known as beanbag toss, bags, cornhole, goes by a bunch of different names. But we'll teach you the skill first, then we'll teach you how to play, and finally we'll teach you the scoring. Don't worry about if you have all the equipment at home. We're going to show you how to use some household items to create this. You can play this by yourself, with a partner, or even in a group of 4, played 2-on-2 or in pairs. Okay, so follow along, let's learn the skills, and then we'll teach you the game.
This is the skill of the underhand toss using a beanbag. We're going to show you 2 from the front and 2 from the side. So there's a step, there's a swinging of the arm, and then there's a release with a follow through. Let's see one more from the front. He's going to step with his opposite foot, swing that arm back, let go in front of him, and then the follow through. Let's see 2 from the side. Step, toss, step, swing, toss. Let's learn how to perform the beanbag toss by breaking it down into 3 simple to follow steps. The very first thing you're going to do on the beanbag toss is you're going to swing your arm backwards. That's the arm holding the beanbag. This is known as the preparatory phase. When we lift our arm backwards, it's going to give us more distance to swing our arm forward so we can toss it further. Let's see that from the side. Reach back. Now you have a lot of distance to swing forward. One more time. The second step of the beanbag toss is going to be the step with the foot. Now you can step with the opposite foot like this. So he's got the bag in the right hand. He's going to step forward with the left foot. One more time, please. Swing back and step, and then let's see it from the side. As he swings his arm backwards in that preparatory phase, he's going to step forward with the opposite foot. One more time. And if you choose to, you can step with the same foot. You'll see a lot of the professional beanbag tossers on ESPN playing the game by stepping with the same foot. Either is fine. You just got to figure out which one works best for you. Gauge it by which one is most accurate. So this would be same step. One more. The third and final step of the beanbag toss is the release and the follow through. So we've got the swing back of the arm, we've got the step, and now as you swing your arm forward, you're going to release the bag in one smooth motion. Now the faster you swing your arm forward, the farther the beanbag will travel. You also want to release a little bit high in the air so you don't end up tossing the beanbag short of your target. Let's see 2 tosses from the side. You'll notice he swings his arm back, steps forward, and then releases all in one smooth motion. Again, the harder you swing your arm, the faster you bring it forward. When you release nice and high, the beanbag will travel further. Let's see all 3 put together in one smooth motion. We're looking for that arm swing backwards. We're looking for the step going towards our target. And then we've got a nice forceful arm swing coming forward with a high release point. We want the beanbag to travel like a rainbow arc. Now that you've learned how to underhand toss, let's find out what we can use around the house to create our own beanbag toss game. Mrs. Worrell has a couple of small beanbags here, but she could just as easily grab a pair of rolled up socks or something kind of lightweight that won't bounce too far. And she's also taken some chalk, and she's made 3 circles on the ground, a large, a medium, and a small. And you could number these. The large circle could be 1 point, the medium circle could be 2 points, and the small circle could be 3 points if you want to keep score. You can play this game by yourself or with a partner. And what she's going to do is she's going to practice that tossing motion, swinging the arm back, stepping forward, and then swinging through. And she's just going to practice her accuracy and her distance. It's okay if you miss, but you can decrease and increase the difficulty by either standing closer to make it easier for you or standing farther if you want to make it harder. This is a good beginner level for someone who doesn't have the cornhole equipment like the board and the large beanbags. Gives you a chance to practice your technique, and all you need is a pair of rolled up socks and some chalk. Here's a second version if you have some different equipment at home. For instance, Mr. Rich would be using some stuffed animals that he's taken from his room, and then he's also taken here a jump rope. You could easily use a towel, a belt, piece of rope or string, but that's going to serve as his target. Now it's one target only, so it's not so much a point system like the chalk circles, but he's going to do the exact same underhand toss that we've been teaching and showing, and he's going to toss those stuffed animals and try and get them to land in that rope circle. Again, jump rope works, towel works, maybe a belt, and you can make that circle as big or as small as you want it to be, and you're just using it as a target. So don't worry too much if it bounces out, because this is usually something you'll be doing on your own or just with a family member. So again, it doesn't have to be super competitive, just working on your tossing motion and increasing your accuracy. Again, the difficulty can be adjusted by getting closer to the target or farther away, depending on your ability. Here's our third and final option if you don't have a cornhole set at home to use. Miss Burrows is going to be using the full-size bean bags or something that is similar in size and weight, and she's got a hula hoop and a frisbee on the ground. So if you have hula hoops, frisbees at home, the hula hoop would be the big target, kind of like landing on the board, and then the frisbee would be the center target, kind of like the 6-inch hole in the center of the board. Now she's got the big bean bags, but she's still going to swing forward using the exact same motion that we learned earlier. She's got the arm swing back, the step forward, the follow through with the release, and she's standing at a distance that's appropriate for her ability level, and she's aiming for the yellow frisbee. If she misses, she might still get it inside the blue hula hoop, but this is her target practice. Again, different items serving as different targets, challenging your ability to be accurate. She can adjust her distance to make it easier or harder on herself. Here is the full game of cornhole. Now you can do this by yourself. You do not need another partner to play. Typically what happens is you have the board with the hole in the center. You're going to stand as far away as you are comfortable. Again, my younger students, TK, kinder, first grade, closer is going to be better for you because you're going to get more success. Older students, stand farther away so that you can challenge yourself. But we're using that underhand tossing motion. Typically you have 4 bean bags, and you're simply aiming for that center hole. There is points, 3 points for getting it in the center hole, and you get 1 point if the beanbag stays on the wood. You do not get any points if the beanbag bounces on the ground first and then lands on the board. Here's how you can play cornhole with one other person. So this would be a competitive game, Miss Burrows versus Mr. Arriaga. You can see we have the boards placed a good distance apart. Technically, 27 feet is the exact distance for a game of cornhole or beanbag toss. Each player has 4 different color bags. That way they do not confuse whose are the black and whose are the gold, or whatever color you have. But one of the rules about cornhole is you have to toss from the side of the board. You can stand on either side you want, but you are not allowed to step past the end of the board. So let's see that from Mrs. Burrows. When she steps, she has to remain on the side of the board. Now, as she tosses, she's aiming for the board. She's aiming for the very center, that little 6-inch circle. And again, the circle is 3 points. The board, if you get it to stay on, is 1 point. So you do want to make sure that when you're playing with someone, you're not standing right next to the board. That way, if they miss, you don't get hit. And you simply take turns tossing your 4 beanbags. Here is our final version. This is the actual game of cornhole. It's played in pairs. So we have a 2-on-2 game. And the boards, I said earlier, are spaced exactly 27 feet apart. Each team has their own color beanbags, and you have 4 of your beanbags. So there's 4 tosses. You're aiming for the 6-inch center hole. That is worth 3 points if you get it in. And if it lands on the board and stays on the board, you're going to get 1 point for that. Now, I said earlier that you're supposed to toss from the side of the board. You are not allowed to step in front of the board on your step into your toss. You also have to make sure that the people on the other side are out of the way so that you can safely toss without hitting them. Now, here's a couple of rules of beanbag toss. The scoring is a little unusual. We usually play to 21. So the first team to accumulate 21 points would win. However, they use a system of scoring called subtraction. What this means is if Miss Burrows and Mr. Rich are a team, and Mrs. Worrell and Mr. Arriaga are a team. If Miss Burrows on her tosses accumulates 5 points, and Mrs. Worrell accumulates 7 points, Mrs. Worrell would subtract Miss Burrows' 5 points from her 7, so she would end up with 2. So the score after that first round, even though it was 7 and 5, the subtraction score makes it 2-0. It's a little bit tricky, but you are welcome to score it however you choose. You do not have to use the subtraction method. But notice how they're taking turns. So Miss Burrows stands on the right side of her board, or sorry, the left side, and then Mr. Rich is standing on the right side of his. So you toss from the same side that your partner is on, and then you simply take turns back and forth. This makes sure that you don't have to pick up the beanbags and walk them back after each round. And it's real simple. We have a couple tips for you. Aside from the underhand toss, which you have to toss underhand in beanbags, there's a couple tips that'll help you be more successful. First tip is aim small. We have a saying called aim small, miss small. That means we're gonna aim for the very center of that circle, that hole in the center. It's only 6 inches wide. If you aim small, you'll miss small. Meaning if I aim for that 6-inch hole, there's a good chance I'm still going to be on the board even if I miss my target. The last tip is spin it to win it. So you don't simply want to toss the beanbag flat. You want to get a little bit of a sideways twisting, almost a frisbee-like spinning motion to it. So you'll see some of the professional beanbag tossers, they'll spin the beanbag like a frisbee as they release. It'll spin kind of flat like a pancake, and that'll help the beanbag travel straight and get a nice bounce or straight into the hole. So aim small, miss small, and spin it to win it. This is cornhole or beanbag toss or bags. Again, it has multiple names. If you have one person, if you have 2 people, if you have 4 people, this game can be played with all sorts of combinations. So try building your own at home. Using chalk, using hula hoops, using frisbees or ropes or towels or belts. Use anything you have that can mimic a beanbag, like a stuffed animal, a rolled up pair of socks, and have some fun with this. If you're looking for a real challenge, try tossing with your opposite hand. That would be your non-dominant hand. That'll provide a significant challenge for those of you who are pretty good at the underhand toss already. Thank you for joining us for Beanbag Toss today. I hope you learned a little bit about how to underhand toss, and you learned some options for playing a game of beanbag at home with your family. We'll see you next time.